welcome to the show.
Okay.
Welcome everyone.
I get into the good backbeat, good strong music. I appreciate that.
I like that strong music.
It is. It's all good, and you can't sign up for FlutterCon in a few weeks because call for papers long gone.
Yes,
I'm in.
I need to change that.
My first FlutterCon. Hooray!
In fact, I think you'll find it's the first time we'll meet in person. How long have we been doing this for? It'll be the first time we've actually met.
Yeah, I know. Unless you didn't come to IO last year, so nope. It wouldn't have been. Wow.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna jump straight into the show. We've got some guests with us, and we'll introduce everyone. But first of all, we got the do's and don'ts. Randall.
Yes. There we go. So again, be nice, be respectful, be constructive. We are talking to real people. We're talking to each other through this mechanism. So it's not just a bunch of bots, although a few people I'm a little questionable about, but mostly we're not bots. Okay, let's put it that way. Don't post anything if it's adult, rude, or offensive. Do not advertise or promote anything. The only people that are allowed to promote things are people with their face on the camera. If you don't have your face on the camera, don't say things like, I got this great project. You don't get to do that. Harassment of any kind, not tolerated. We do have ban hammers. We do take advantage of them if we need to. But do have a good time. We have a good time doing the show, sharing our knowledge with y'all and answering questions, and also just challenging us, because being challenged and succeeding is a good feeling. I was going to say just being challenged is a good feeling, but no, being challenged and succeeding is a great feeling.
I don't know. I like it when I get that challenge and I can't figure it out, because I seem to miss those too often at the moment. We'll try and end the show on some live coding, hopefully, if we get there. But we've got a lot of stuff to get through, so we're going to jump straight into it. Let's do some introductions briefly. My name's Simon Lightfoot, Flutter community leader, CTO Dev Angels London, and you can find me on Twitter, Dev Angels London, and some other places and various similar guises, Blue Sky, all that kind of jazz. Scott's not with us today. Randall, you're here. Give it up for Randall.
I am here. I'm here, back from IO. Hooray! Back again on in my secret underground bunker with the fake picture of Crater Lake behind me, as always. I am a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert, one of the first batch, so 6 years now going on, I think. I am also a full-time Flutter consultant when there's work to do. And I also, for this show, am the question magician, which means that I am watching the live chat. I'm watching for statements that say Q : something. I consider those as questions for us to the panel, and I flag those, and we'll bring them up as time permits. Generally in the order that they are presented, which also means if you post the same thing twice, then you will end up dropping in the queue. So don't do that. That's just silly. I'll remove your first entry and add to the second entry. And also, most of the rest of the days, I am online answering your questions on places like Discord and Reddit and Stack Overflow. I enjoy doing that a lot. I probably spend way too many hours doing that when I should be working, but it's something that just keeps attracting me to be able to help y'all all the time. So that's me.
And the community is better for it, and we thank you. Danielle, welcome to the stream.
Hey, everybody. I'm Danielle Cox. I'm the Flutter tech lead for a startup called Ardly. And one of the things I'm probably more proud of is I'm one of the organizers of the Flutteristas. And I'm happy to see lots of Flutterista chat going on and, over there going on. So that's always good to rep for that. Thank you. Thank you, Steph and Kaylee. I see you there. And I know we've got Ezra around, and so that'll be good. So yeah, that's me, and I have met Randall twice now.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I'm better for
it. We also have Ezra. Ezra, welcome.
Hello. I'm Ezra from Berlin all the time. I'm a Flutter developer by day, and I'm doing community by heart. I think right now it's all the time. You can maybe know me from the book or the Flutter design patterns and best practices, or I'm also co-leading Flutteristas with like Danielle, Steph, and all of the other admins, Flutter Berlin meetup, and of course Flutter Community AI Circle is something I'm pursuing for. So all the way around. We were in the Google I/O we were super happy. We had tons of improvements. Then I was there like, hey, Craig, we need you here.
Craig, here he is.
Exactly, Craig.
Hey folks, yeah, so my name's Craig and I work at this small indie company and we're working on a UI toolkit and I hope you all like it. So
it might catch on.
Might catch on. There might be a few apps made with it. Who knows?
That's the hope. And Randall, how many times have we been in a room together? Like 4 or 5, right? We got to be chip leaders here. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Rub it in.
Well, we hope, Craig, you liked how we definitely yelled for you when you walked on stage.
Yeah.
You did. I felt the love. It was very, very kind of everyone in the room. Yeah.
And you'll be at FlutterCon, right? Coming up in New York?
I sadly will not.
Oh,
Make that. I know. I know.
We'll think happy thoughts about you anyway. Yes.
You get warm, fuzzy things, and your ears will turn red when we're
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So something we were like, obviously 3.32 was released, and I was wondering what's everyone's take on it? Like, I mean, maybe we could walk through the release notes or what the big changes are.
There's some cool stuff, but especially we got our comments back, so now I can actually upgrade to it. I skipped the last Dart version because
I'll be honest with you, I didn't go to the latest version because of the formatting changes. Really messed me up. I couldn't do it. So I'm glad that the latest version has a fix for that.
Right.
And by the way, just one thing this is kind of random is there are release notes now for 332.1, but it's not hit yet. So if you try to upgrade, it still says 332.0 is the latest.
The next hotfix will be out soon.
I would think so. Yeah,
That sounds like someone decisively lost that race condition.
Did you want to share the Medium article at all, Craig, or should I bring it up on screen? We can walk through it maybe, or do you want to talk about points from it?
Sure, yeah.
We also can drop the link to the what's the current state of Flutter talk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, while you're bringing that up, probably we just have the main bullet points all the way. Of course, like, we already started to see some tweets about webpads reload for sure. And it's something that people are super hyped about. For me, I'm also super interested in the Firebase AI logic now. We have the SDK, of course, Gemini in Android Studio. I'm more pursuing in the AI side of the things, but super interested in going through the release notes all together, because I'm sure it's also super new for the folks and probably they had no time to go through it too.
Did you get your Waymo ride, Asra?
Sorry?
Did you get your Waymo ride?
Your Waymo ride.
Waymo ride? Oh no, I'm not. I don't talk about Waymo here. Thank you. We are good.
Ooh.
We will see later. Yeah. Good. Media trained. No comments.
1 second.
And Frey is already like, hot reload for web is awesome. Already he tried.
And Steph's got the trailing comments comment, which is
I think that's the part that she loved the most, and Simon has the problem. Trailing comments are back, makes someone
I mean, people like Simon and I just hated it. It actually affected Steph's life.
To be honest, it just it really messed up. Like there's a certain way. One of the reasons why I really liked Dart was the fact that I could choose that formatting, right? Pick and choose the bits and pieces the way I wanted to lay it out. Because there are some ways that are just, if you've got repeating patterns of code, it's legible to have them repeating, right? Whereas suddenly if you've got it like just taken over and removing your line breaks for you, it was like, I can't do that. Like it made it all over the place. I'm like, I can't find anything anymore. Very frustrating.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry, not put digs in there at all or anything like that. But it is what it is.
I didn't use the comma removal either. I skipped that version.
We live and learn. We live and learn.
Yep.
All right. I'll tell you what I was going to bring up. Look at this. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this up. Oh, wrong thing. Well, I'll bring that up anyway right now. So this is a point before we jump on. Yeah, if you want to share code with Humpday Q&A team here, you want to go to gist.new, pop in the title description. You need to just GitHub account. Make sure you name your file something.dart, paste in your code, and you can put your comments and your message and whatever else, and then copy the hash from the URL. That's the bit highlighted in the red box on 0.6, and drop that in the chat, and then we can go find it and look it up, and we can take a look at whatever you want to share. On that point, let's see if we can share something else. Let's remove that and share that. Hey, look, it's Craig. It's Craig.
Yay! I want the T-shirt. I want that T-shirt that says "Vibe One Run Everywhere." They gotta make one of those.
That got a good laugh for sure. That was good.
We need a special T-shirt run. You hear that, Craig?
Well, I will not be monetizing my talks that I do in my official capacity, so I will leave it up to somebody else to Teespring that. And
you know who to talk to at Google to get that to happen, though, right? Somebody should know how to get that to happen.
Yeah, that definitely got a good laugh.
Sorry.
I think it's my head right on the left side of that picture there.
Look at that. Oh, super jealous. Look at your.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Wow, I actually went all of I/O. Puff and I never crossed paths. I didn't even know he was there.
Oh,
you were both.
He was in purple this year. Maybe.
Oh, that's why I didn't recognize him.
No yellow. Right?
Yeah, he was more in orange, yellow. Yeah.
Yeah. How did we meet? I mean, obviously he was there because he lives so close. Anyway. Oh, Anna.
Oh, look, Nash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was Nash. Nash was a lot of fun too.
Yep.
You forget how big that screen really is on the stage, don't you?
Oh, I have found myself a few times in the the keynote, like looking when they do audience shots.
Oh yeah, but you can either play stuff with. So I still want us. I don't know if you remember this. I don't think you were then there, Danielle. But the first Google I/O that a bunch of us went to in the community for Flutter stuff, I said, do you know what we need to do next time we come along? Get that blue hairspray, like the stuff you can like wash out, and just all of us do our hair blue, and we'll sit in the crowd in a big F shape. We'll have hats on, and when it shuts, we'll just take them off.
Yeah, that's great. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. That's right. Can you tell us a story about the bird?
So you're guaranteed to not join next year.
That's it. I'm not getting an invitation now. That's it. Never again. Just in case. Yeah, I still think like having the blue hair is like would be kind of cool to say like give out the like little like spray cans of it and just be like, if you like Flutter, here, take this. You should use this. And see how many people see how many people I/O we can get with blue hair.
I do want to say that I do want to say that it was pretty amazing that finally, after all these years of living within 10 miles of Steph, I finally got to meet Steph at I/O.
Yeah.
She lives like right over there, like 10 miles away.
Like in the same area.
So Esther, can you tell us the story about the bird?
If you ever hear someone is screaming during the keynote, it's me. I got attacked by a bird during the keynote.
Oh no!
Is that on the recording? Is that on the recording?
Like... I need to watch it properly to see. We were sitting with Kylie next to each, and it's literally hit my head and then just like go down there. Before we just had some like
compensation.
Yeah, we just like got some small item collected from us because they were thinking that we're gonna make noise out of it. But my scream was louder than that. That was a small problem. But we are good.
Wow.
So everyone enjoyed Google I/O is what I'm hearing, and I wasn't there. Okay.
Well, we enjoyed the camaraderie and the people, and we enjoyed Craig's talk a lot.
I hear there needs to be more Flutter. So you hear our feedback, Craig. More Flutter next year, okay?
Yep.
I think one more link you can show, Simon. It's on top, which is App Developer Hangout in I/O, which we have all of the Flutter folks and everyone. That's I think, pretty good one. And the one I don't have my face on there. I need to actually Photoshop myself there, but we are good.
Yeah, I don't think I was in yet. Yeah, I was off to this. I was not in the picture yet. I was there when they took it. Heading toward
I will put our faces up there with the paint and then repost it. No worries. Okay.
Here in spirit.
I was sitting just to the right of this picture. I was sitting just to the right.
And the giant dash there is the one from Flutter Interact.
Oh,
exactly.
Right.
The one that
somebody was inside it for a while. Somebody's walking around with it on as a costume. It was pretty weird.
You do not want to go. You don't want to touch that on the inside.
Yeah. I can imagine. You don't know who's been there. Yeah, exactly.
and I did sit in the same room with Sergey. So that was he crushed one of the talks. He was not listed on the talk, although when you walk in, the first half of all the chairs are all reserved. You know, and so so there was a lot less room for people in there. And we get in there and he comes out. So that was interesting to be in a room with, because I don't know. We're around some billionaires, but there's a little difference when you get up to the 100 billionaire,
I got to confirm by asking Eric that the name Shorebird actually comes from Shorebird Avenue, which is right through the middle of the Googleplex there.
Oh, wow, cool. Okay.
And specifically, that was the office where the team was sitting when they started Flutter. Well, it was in one of the buildings on that street.
Yeah.
Nice.
They had an office off, was it Amphitheater Way? The one leading down to the amphitheater. There was like a low single level.
I moved around a few times. When I was on the team, when I joined, they were in Shoreline, or just directly off of Shoreline.
But you walk down that road and you go straight. You get to one of the entrances to the amphitheater, kind of like the big area. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. All right. About a 3.32.
Hey.
We're here. Woo. So I think like obviously incremental release, and there's some interesting things that are going into this. Anything you specifically want to speak about, Craig? While we got you here.
Well, I think we could do a pass. I mean,
sure.
One thing I'll say, and this is just kind of broad, high level stuff about Flutter releases these days, has been true for a while. The days of like the announcements to the tune of desktop is now stable, or web is now stable, are kind of in the past, and we're really chasing the long tail features of polish and feature completeness and all that kind of stuff. So I would propose that we all kind of view it as a positive about the maturity of Flutter as these releases start to get into like more and more edge case scenarios that are now covered, and not like we finally can do this thing at all. So that's how I think about Flutter releases these days.
It's definitely one of those things. Like there's with most projects, right? You get a sort of a certain level of maturity that happens, and like I think there's also like kind of like you can't just keep in any project. I think I've seen this I could say this, not any project. You can't just keep doing features, right? You have to stabilize the current flows. You can't keep bringing in new code, expecting things to remain good into the status quo. Like, there's people using, especially as an SDK, like there's people using this that are going to have feedback, that are going to be able to like drive the technology forward. And I think that kind of goes into getting all that feedback on board. It's really important. Talking about feedback. Yeah, look at that. With 1,024 commits, 156 unique contributors, featuring 39 first-time contributors. Right to 3.32 is a testament to our community's incredible efforts. Yeah, I mean, no, honestly, like you think about it, 39 first-time contributors. That's amazing. When we push this on the show, right? Like in terms of, if you spot something, don't just make an issue about it. Try and like contribute something, right? There's, like why not, right? Give it a go. Definitely.
I think we could probably. I was thinking about this the other day. Kate and I, a long time ago, had a boring show episode on how to contribute to Flutter, and a lot of that is still valid in terms of the setup. but I think that we could. I was thinking maybe like a build show episode could be how to get a setup on your machine that is at least close to what actual like the Flutter framework team has. What are their workflows? How do they check things out? How do they switch branches? How do they blah, blah, blah? How do they run tests? And I think an updated resource there would be helpful, because one thing I'll say for anyone out there who's not immediately convinced to take a swing at the fix yourselves, like it is intimidating. So I think a refresh of our docs there could be good.
I think there's also I mean, I remember putting a couple of fixes in the like the Flutter tooling and also like anything to do with like the host platform as well. Like these there's areas that are like, it's definitely harder to get a development environment working where you can like debug native code alongside you know, the Dart code and things like that, and actually fully take like some sort of fix to fruition. The other thing is also just how you do testing around it, right? How you test the framework is another part of it, right? And ensuring that, you know, that it meets the high standards that the Flutter team has for submitting a PR. Yeah. Otherwise, you just, if you don't try and push, like a lot of people kind of like, I've seen this in a lot of different code bases, but like they'll just fire off a PR and be like, okay, I'm done, fix is there, right? But it's like, now you have a whole long conversation for ages and ages and ages, just trying to get it to the point where it's ready to be merged, right? And I think that needs to be avoided, because that just wastes a lot of the, you know, not in a bad way, but I mean, like, a lot of the Flutter team's time, right? Like you can't be fielding all these questions all the time, because then you're not going to get anything done. So I think that better follow the contributors guide, making sure that, you know, your PR is up to a certain standard, that has tests, that has all this stuff, before you start going, okay, I need a secondary review now. I need one of the Flutter team to come in and actually like, is this ready to be merged, right? Try and get as far forward as you can before you take it to that next level. Otherwise, it just goes back and forth for ages, and there's only so much time in the day. There's only so many tickets that someone can look at. And
a great way to short circuit a lot of that back and forth is to get somebody with relevant experience to basically, you know, the person who might merge your code to agree with your approach as written in just plain text, like no code. And that will both confirm that you're not kind of stepping into an anti-pattern space that you would have no way to know is there. So like, it's not like you'd be a bad developer for doing that, but you can get guidance, kind of bumper bowling experience there. And then 2, to confirm that no one else is working on it, because a really unsatisfying thing would be, this is a super great PR. So sorry, Fred over there has been working on it, and we're merging that one. So like you don't want to have that one. You don't want to have that happen to you either.
That's actually a general rule for open source projects, is you interact through an issue tracker generally to say, I'm looking at this problem. Is anybody else looking at it? First, to see if there's any interest for a poll, accepting a pull request, because if you're coding but nobody cares about the issue, then it's not going to work either. But also make sure you're not duplicating effort. So yeah, very important.
You also might, I've seen this happen before, you also might get a reply to that and say, I'm already working on this, can you co-review my fix? Right?
Right, yeah. The issue tracker can be that rendezvous, watering hole. It's very nice to keep that in mind.
Does Flutter use the discussions feature in GitHub at all? I'm not sure.
I think so.
I don't know. I'm a little behind on the latest GitHub features that have rolled out.
Right.
I might curious to go take a quick look.
I think so. I'm not sure.
You know, I was having some conversations with like Chris Sells about, you know, he was trying to figure out how to do certain things, and you know, he'd get an answer back from someone. He's like, okay, but where does it tell me how to do that in the documentation? And I was running through some stuff on my phone, so I didn't mark it to remember exactly where it was, but I found like an example that had deprecated fields in it. I'm pretty sure. I was looking through stuff. So another thing I would point out is the fact that if you want to contribute and you want to maybe only like have to do half the stuff, you know, you can get an issue to fix the some documentation, and then you're not creating tests and stuff like that. So that may be a little less intimidating way to get your name on the list. And then after you've got, you know, once you've once you've got the right environment, you figured out how to do that, then you can go ahead and start working on bigger issues.
Yeah, the first ticket I submitted that actually got solved within a week was just that there was a typo in the doc string, and somebody, it was marked good for first timer, and somebody picked it up the next day, and within a day had gone through the paperwork, and it got accepted into the release that happened that Friday. It was great. So issue on Monday, release on Friday. That was great.
That's fastest turnaround ever.
Doc change, I mean, it's quite quick, right? As long as it's correct.
Yeah.
But
but all the way to release in 1 week. That's
It just happened to time it just before. I think it was the 2 point something release, one of the earlier ones.
Talking about releases, let's see. We get back to
last thought on contributing. Flutter docs.flutter.dev is also open source and has a repository. And that's another great place to contribute. We're talking about updating documentation. There's doc strings in the Flutter framework. That's one thing. There's also explanations, paragraphs of how to think about stuff on flutter.dev. Same thing. Create an issue, propose what you would change. There's tech writers who work on it 24/7. They might already be doing it, or they might have some other plan, right? So you still want to confirm it ahead of time. That's another wonderful place to contribute.
And I've contributed there too, because the first description of patterns, they alphabetically sorted the patterns, which then throws away which one has higher precedence. And I said, you got to fix this. You got to put a precedence chart somewhere, or you got to unsort them again. And so they unsorted them. So I'm the reason it's in the right order.
A great contribution.
Yeah. One liner, one liner bug fix.
I'm the one at my company that loves regular expressions. Everybody else is like, if they have a regular expression, they come to me. Or if they don't,
Cool.
So
I think it's also finding the right time to use a regular expression, right?
Sure.
Yes.
Because there's too many times when people just go for a regular expression all the time to solve something, and it's just the wrong approach.
Right.
You can land yourself in hot water if you're not too careful. Also, with a bad regular expression.
Do we want to go through the rest of this Medium document, or should we go through the summary document that I made from the actual keynote? It's a lot shorter and just has the bullet points.
Well, let's have a quick look here, and then
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Hot reload on the web. Yay!
If you've got it to hand, Randall, like send it in the private chat, and we'll.
I did.
You have.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. You can't look everywhere, Simon. It's physically impossible.
I can try though. I can try.
Yes, you can appear to be doing that. That's the best part.
My head just starts turning around.
Yeah, you get your avatar to spin.
Let's have a look. Is it up the stream? There you go.
So what this is it's the keynote analyzed by Gemini to extract the key points.
Of course it is.
Yes. So Flutter's being used by more people. Dart's got digit separators. Ooh.
Oh, do you know what? I really like that. I have to say, in every language I've used that, I really like it makes it so much more legible to see a number and go, oh, that's 28 million, right? That's 28,000 or whatever, right? Rather than like, how many zeros is that?
Yeah. Alternatively, like a lot of big constants, not all, but a lot are derived from smaller things. Like, you might have a constant for the number of milliseconds in a year or something, and then you can kind of build that up as you go. Milliseconds in a second, milliseconds in a minute is that one times 60. But if it's just this like crazy big value, digit separator is super helpful.
Well, and as far as I'm concerned, wildcard variables came out in this release too, because
yes,
use the last version of Dart. No, they came out in the last version of Dart, but I wouldn't use it because of the commas.
Right.
And
I think
the
of
null
wildcard
aware
variables
is
I think of wildcard variables as like dev null for Dart, because you can just shove an infinite amount of values in it and they disappear.
I can't wait for that upcoming though, that shorter syntax for enums. That's going to be really nice.
Oh, we tried that out last last week before last? We tried it out, didn't we? It was so nice.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that too, for sure. Yeah. And the null aware, I'm using that now where I used to, if I needed to build something that was optional, it would be a list widget, and it would return a list with an, if I want this element, put it in there kind of thing. So being able to just have the element say question mark element just is like so much nicer. So
yep.
And we were bashing on the comma stuff. Craig, if you talk to the right people, just thank you so much for listening to us.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I mean, the folks behind the comma formatting and the adjustment in light of feedback, like they have received an unbelievable but totally appropriate in my mind amount of praise from other people around. Just the just putting everyone first, putting the developers first. Like, it happened, they did it, and I feel very grateful to them, and I think they feel a lot of love from the community, from other Dash teammates. Totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, we can't be afraid to make improvements. But the fact that they listened to us when it wasn't and did that, that's just that's the amazing part to me is, okay, yeah, so at least somewhat objectively it was a mistake, but they reacted quickly, and we got a fix for it. So yeah. So.
Another good one alongside that was that for people that don't know, you can now set page width in there as well now.
Oh yeah, you can.
So when it was forever like typing out Dart commands going 80 column, not 80 100, and like it's really nice to have that now as a defaultable value that you can put in your pub spec as well.
Yep.
I think those funny. It's funny, right? That from a developer experience standpoint, it's those tiny little things that I actually noticed this. Actually, I don't know when you have to leave, Craig, but when we're doing some live coding, we notice these things when you do like the auto fix for like you get the recommendations up like for what you can wrap a widget with. I've always never really thought about this, but I never get layout builder or future builder pop up.
I always just choose builder for those.
This is the thing. I always do builder and then edit the parameters, or I always do stream builder and edit the parameters because I'm just used to doing that. But then if someone's came to me, it's like that's the way you keep doing that. Like and I'm like, I just realized no, that's the way I've just learned to do it because it's the way I could do it, not necessarily the best way, right? Like I feel like I should be submitting a PR with those changes for the list. Like, why not, right? And then I've got it solved for me and hopefully for everyone else. But it's like, I think it's like that kind of like little things that that would really enhance the developer experience, especially for new developers coming along that don't have that kind of muscle memory for what to do. That I think is really hard to put yourself in that position again. Once you learn these things, it's very difficult. You can't unlearn them. So any feedback that anyone has talking out there to the audience, make sure people are made aware, because like especially as a new developer, like these are the things that we want to fix, but it's not unless we're kind of made aware of them. Is it one that's the other thing, right? How do you know when it's I wish it did this kind of thing, right? Like that should improve the dev experience. How do you quantify it? Cool. So let's jump back over to what time do you have to leave, Craig? So I'm just resting. I don't want to like use up all your time just chatting away here.
I can at least go to the top of the hour, maybe a little past.
Okay, cool. So we got a little bit of time. If anyone has any questions with Craig, feel free to jump them in the chat. This is a Q&A show. And as you say, we'll see if we can get to some of those before Craig has to go. Right. Is there any questions at the moment? Randy?
Nothing specific for Greg. Craig. So I'll let you keep walking here.
I actually have some while you're going through it.
Well, let's just get a bit of this done, and then we'll jump back up.
Sure, let's go this one first.
So Flutter adoption success. 28% of all new apps on the Apple App Store. I wonder how they get the statistic. I'm like, I don't know what's published now.
They download all the free apps and analyze them, right?
Wow, right?
We don't. But there's a company that does. They're called Apptopia, and they their business model is selling the intelligence that they get about all these things. Now, it is worth noting that is 28% of new free apps, but then it's also worth noting that basically all apps are free because they have in-app purchases. So it is a very large percentage of apps.
That's huge.
Yep.
Huge. Flutter community is large and active. It is indeed. Talking about that, make sure everyone, as an audience member right now, you go find a friend that may not have heard about our show, and next week you tell them to be here this same time, and they can join us on the show. There you go. See, it's my outreach. Dart language improvements, digit separator, wildcard, none of where we went through those. Short syntax for selecting members of a known type. Upcoming. Yes, this is what I honestly, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for this. And the thing is, it's not like I've been out there poking someone saying, I want this, I want this, I want this. But it has been one of those things from day one. I'm like, if only it did this, right?
Yep.
And no one really spoke up about it, I don't think, because everyone knew it was there. It happened eventually.
Yeah.
This is worth giving up macros for. People don't understand. You know, and people that are working on macros, they shipped it over and came out with this right away. Look at that.
Yeah. That's one of the two things I like from Swift. Sorry, Craig, go ahead.
No. Finish that thought, because one of the things I was going to say is the same thing.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I love that from Swift. The other thing I would love to get would be an if expression. Yeah, we've got switch expressions now, but an if expression would be nice too.
If case?
Well, I mean, you can do tertiaries, right? So you can do
definitely do tertiaries. I just find that reads better.
It's not the same with the word if, right?
Exactly.
I'm gonna just do it. Do I do this? Do I disgrace man? I've been learning something else recently.
Fun.
Anyway, and it's one of the things I really liked about the language is the fact that any block it results in expression, right? So it's like you can do those if expressions, and it's just naturally inside the language, which makes a big difference to the readability of something as well.
I think it does too.
Whether or not our Bob Nystrom agrees with us with the language stuff is another matter. I'm sure he'll have words. Okay. Where are we? Should we just dive over? We talked about let's just dive over here for a second. So we got hot reload on the web in the experimental. Craig, what are you hoping to get out of this? Like, do you want like feedback from a lot of people about like how they're experiencing hot reload, would you say? And like, is this solving their problem?
I mean, yeah, like you were just saying earlier, I think any feedback, I wouldn't want to be too prescriptive about feedback. Any feedback, especially kind of the more beginner someone is, which is ironically when it's the most intimidating to submit feedback, because you might there's a fear you're going to say like, I wish it did this, and everyone's like, it does, you just don't know. But
it's like
there's
a widget for that, right? There's a widget
exactly.
For that. Like, if only I knew all the widgets.
There's a command line arg for that.
But yeah, it's simple that add dash web experimental dash hot reload to Flutter run, and you'll get the new feature. I think it's quite an amazing feat of engineering just about to add this, to be honest. Like, it really is. It's not a simple change, and I can see why it took so long to get there. I don't think this. I mean, I won't talk to. Oh my goodness, what's his name? Help me out here, Craig. The guy. Kevin. Sorry, blimey. Yeah, Kevmoo. I won't talk to him, but I mean, like, I don't think this would have been possible without the WASM changes and the JS interrupt changes that they've been doing. Like this is kind of fundamental to having some of this stuff functional, working. So I think naturally it's got to this point where it's possible. Yeah,
so much engineering goes into. I mean, the levels of abstraction for hot reload to work at all are stateful hot reload, of course, are just crazy, and it also never. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it never would have worked with the DOM renderer, but it would have been a different beast than it does with the Canvas Cam renderer.
Running in VS Code, you can do that. Well, then we went through that. Reloading in Dartpad.
Yep.
Also, you've got a reload button in Dartpad now, so we can experience hot reload ourselves.
Yes, that flag is globally enabled in Dartpad, the -- experiment.
You continue to move our logic from material library into the widgets library. I think this is one of those things that I think we've kind of hopped on about a few times on here, which is over the years, which is, everyone dives. It's quite one of those things where a lot of the beginner developers just throw straight in with the material elements, and then they go, I can't make the button smaller the way I want it, and all of this. And then they try and like hack around with like the theming system and like try and like basically push the material design widgets to do what they want. It's like, if you're pushing, then you're doing it wrong, right? Like you can just do it yourself. And I think there's that thing that because the material widgets are heavily, they account for a lot of different variation themselves, not just one specific one. It means that it's really hard to read them a lot of the time. Like if you want to go browse in that source code, like, and try and work out what theme parameters do what, and like,
it's
you know,
tough.
it can be quite daunting, especially for a beginner, right?
Yep.
So I think having these simplified widgets that perform the base actions and then you can build on top of is just fabulous, right? Like I think it's what everyone's been looking for. There was a name for that project inside the Flutter team. I forgot what it was now.
Well, it's been there was so Ian Hickson, who was one of the original folks of Flutter, has left Google but is still fluttering to some extent. Was working on a thing called Blank Canvas,
that was
which exposed UI primitives one level lower, like closer to thinking about running with custom painters. And I'm not sure the state of that, how much Ian is still working on that actively. But this broadly, like you were saying, Simon, has been I think a gap in Flutter for a very long time. So much so that the problem is being solved concurrently by like 5 different entities. Because you got Mix, and they have their plain widgets that I think they might call Remix. They're currently called Naked Widgets. There's Shade CDN or Shad CDN. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce it. The Flutter team itself is strengthening the base widgets library. So I think that, the jury is back. The jury is in. Consensus, yes, plain widgets are important and needed. And we've gone from not really having an option there to having several. And I'm a little sad that the foundation doesn't come from the framework itself. I think we'd have less fragmentation there, but the different implementations that exist all seem to be really, really good. So it's kind of like state management where there's a handful of different options and it's like, choose the one you like. I almost think the vanilla widgets are going to get to that same situation.
Well, I think that's what we hope for. I mean, this is a good example of that. Like, I actually tried this out for a new project I needed this for, which was expansible, right? This idea that you've got like an expansion tile, and again, like I've tried it before. You do the expansion tile, and then you end up with this. If you try and use the material design one, then obviously you're using the material design aesthetic and spacing and iconography and various other things. It's like, well, I want to make that blue, or I want to make that underlined, or whatever it might be, and like you can't. Not without great difficulty trying to, again, mash it into doing what you want, which is not the idea of it, right? So having this like widget that just lets you like build on top of it to give you that is brilliant. And then again here, raw menu anchor for the similar thing. That's not Hicks, is it? David Hicks. That's someone else.
No, just another Hicks. Yeah.
Hey, before Craig has to go, there's a comment for Craig, so I just want to make sure he gets seen.
Sure.
Yeah, that was pretty cool and risky.
Craig, you were getting close.
Yeah, you have to explain this to me. I haven't managed to see it yet. Well, what was this?
Well, nobody tell Simon. Simon just.
I have to watch it. Okay, all right, I'll watch it.
It's a fun keynote. Michael does a great job. I think the updates are fun. We had a fun time on stage. So
yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, we enjoyed Michael, but we really cheered for Craig though.
Yeah.
Well, I cheered.
I left the link for you, Simon. Here we go. There you'll have the keynote.
Yep, that's for him.
There was I kind of generally had a feedback from IOs being like, there should be more Flutter from everyone. I'm like, well, next year. There's always next year.
It's quite UI touches, and
this is so it leads the way to desktop, right? This kind of like having this kind of all that menu just looks Shadsy in like its style looks so nice, but this is the same sort of thing. Like you get that kind of like desktop-y kind of widgets.
Yeah, those look great.
Yeah,
and hopefully with those really ultimately will need multi-window to be truly feature complete. So hopefully, God bless Canonical.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like they're all like, Canonical, please, thank you. And I mean, that's an open thing here. Like anyone that can help, like they do need people that can work with Windows. They need people that can work with other platforms. They're Linux first, obviously, right? So go help them out. I know they were looking for some Windows developers to help them with their multi-window integration for Windows. So squircles. Finally, squircles.
Yay!
Actually,
slightly
I
better
have a
squircles.
question about this directly. Like, I'm wondering, maybe I should just like trace back who is doing it in the GitHub and who added this one. But I'm really wondering which minds are actually going for like adding this, because squircle is actually something we were missing to catch the native feeling, and it is something that is there for a while, but we never had a widget for that. And it's super niche that a lot of people are not even aware that we are missing this. But seeing it up here, probably people would feel more of like why it is important.
I was gonna say, should we explain the reasons for it or what it's about? I mean, like.
Can you scroll down a little bit? Because I think
at
the bottom. Yeah, show these controls. Yeah, there you go. Nice, perfect.
So for those that don't know, a super ellipse is this type of shape. It rounds off differently to a rounded rectangle. The mathematics, you can go look up what a super ellipse is and the mathematics around that. But the name that was given to it in the ecosystem has been squircle, because it's not a square and it's not a circle, it's somewhere in between. And there you go. So Ezra's put the link up there in the chat. But it's been around a while, and it's specifically used on iOS, on lots of iOS stuff. I think it was popularized by iOS icon shapes.
Exactly.
The squircle shape around for icons. And if you want to do something around those, you had to use a Mac to calculate it, because that was the only thing that could do it really well at the time. This is a while ago now. But now we have it in Flutter. So when you do want that kind of squircle shape or super ellipsis shape, then you've now got that, which is really nice.
To be honest, we don't know the official value about it from the Apple side, at least, but the main core of it is having a rounded rectangle with let's say the smaller size. It can be height or width, but 20-30% of the width or height, whatever it is. Then you just like end up, let's say, intermediate look between square and circle. For Apple, they are like claiming something in between, but we don't know the official amount there. But it's pretty good to catch the app icons and everything that you kind of mentioned about. Because we are doing it in Flutter for sure, for some reason, for somehow, like you can still do that. Framework allows that, but having it officially supported is super good.
The other shape that I think gets overlooked a lot, and Simon was the one that introduced that to me 4 years ago, Stadium border is a fun one too.
I see this. It really does frustrate me. The amount of code I see where people use a rounded rectangle and then just set the rounded size to like 100 pips because it's big, greater than their height, and then go, it's great. And then until the widget grows higher, then they get a rounded rectangle, not a stadium border. It's like, no, stadium border is designed to solve this problem for you. You do not have to calculate any numbers. Use stadium border. Definitely. It's really nice that it's now used.
For folks. Really good.
Now used by alert, dialogue, and action sheets. It's great. So and we've now got it on the canvas and path as well, which is great as well. It's not as simple as it is. I mean, this is not a simple change, people. And I know you like looking at, oh my god, they just added a shape. No, this goes through all the layers of the frame of the Flutter framework to get this to work. Like, it's not simple. So sheets, Cupertino sheets. How they set the system UI theme when it's open on Android. Interesting. Yeah, of course. That's interesting.
Yeah, just little fidelity, kind of attention to detail improvements here.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That's a good point, right? Because you don't want to adjust for the height of the thing when you're in the sheet mode.
I think the other spicy parts are like once you keep scrolling, you will see AI things too.
The new enable drag argument as well. So is this the sort of, you can drag down to kind of like dismiss it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Craig, I have a bit of feedback for you.
All right.
The amount of people that are on this show that want a bottom sheet that they can just like it will scroll and get bigger and scroll, and then like they can drag to dismiss it is like everyone, and the ones that are in the framework just don't work.
Yeah, so
just
I got,
give that feedback. Just reminded me of that. Sorry.
There's a package for bottom sheets that I'm not sure how much I've used it, but the folks at Wolt are
Wolt bottom
like
sheet.
It's their package, yeah. And I would direct people to at least try out that.
I think it's that kind of like if we're gonna have it in the framework, then we should like have a really good version that's supported. If not, then let's remove it from the. I think it's draggable bottom sheet, isn't it? I think the one that's in the framework actually now. But yeah, I think like there's there's complexity in these things that yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not just. But I could complain for the sake of complaining. I mean, it just came to mind when I was reading. Anyway, let's move on. Navigation bars. All right, so you get an opening and closing on the search.
Nice.
This is good.
Yeah, a lot of Cupertino attention to detail in this release, and probably the next one. You know, it's a pretty sustained effort to really refresh that stuff. So it'll be like, oh, this is another Flutter release, and like 5 random Cupertino things came out. It's like, well, those were just the next 5, and then there'll be 5 more, and then there'll be 5 more.
Material. Some new changes there. Bug fixes, improvements. Carousel, the new carousel widget.
This animate to index would save my life last year, but it can still save it this year. I'm totally happy about it. Totally. These changes, I would say, like UI attention freaks like me, like yeah, I love seeing those because I had to build some custom solutions for that. Not good, not super maintainable. To be honest, you just fork the library and try to do your own thing, and you don't have time to contribute back mostly. So it's super good to have it here.
Really, the future is today. We're getting it all one step at a time.
Yes. I remember actually just looking at these. I do remember you mentioned this earlier, Craig, but those original material widgets, like Slider, I think they still are in the main material framework. They're like they're just custom painted, right? Like there's a lot of those beginning widgets. And in the very early days of Flutter Alpha, like every one of those widgets was just like a custom painter because it was like just a way to get performance out of the framework at that time, I think, in the early days. And it was just made the most sense. But then, of course, this is the problem that we now have. I mean, this is where about choosing the right layer to do your to do your efforts. If you're just like, you can build like everything in the widget layer, but then now you've got rebuild still with, you've got other, like you've got layout and you've got paint, but then to push everything to paint, yes, okay, that'll be the highest performance. But now what you've lost is the configurability of what widgets bring. So
and the maintainability, right? Yeah.
It's
as you go higher in abstraction, it's probably easier to understand, but right, everything below the actual implementation is lost to you. So
it's like there's nothing easy to get at the lowest levels of what text rendering normally is, which is computing side-by-side boxes until it doesn't fit anymore, and then have some sort of next join. Because if we had lower level access to that, we could put our own ... in for continuation and have inserted form fields in the middle and things like that, but we don't have access.
I don't know if there's an issue for this, but you just reminded me of something. Where is the middle ellipsis? I really want middle ellipsis where you can have that start. Because when you display a path, like a file path, you care about the start and the end. You do not care about the middle, and there's no option for that. But you can't calculate yourself because you can't calculate the string lengths. There's no way of actually correctly doing that to fit on the screen. Without
you'd have to drop into the render object layer.
No, even then, because you don't get back the wrapping information from the text rendering. Like it's just like wrap some text, right? Literally,
no, you get it all back. You get all the information back that you need from that.
On a word,
I'm pretty sure. because you
think it was
make
one
your
of
own
the-
text painter, and then you can get its line by line info. Oh, I don't know if it tells you which characters are in each line.
This is the problem, right? So on a part, particularly that instance, it's really hard to do because you don't get breaks, right? You don't get any information about like how it break it because it's just essentially one word with an ellipsis in the middle.
So what I think you'd have to do
is
I
submit
want
a
the
PR.
thing. Yeah, I want the thing below render paragraph written in Dart, because render paragraph calls immediately into the primitives. So
we were trying to do me and this was a while ago now. Me and Matt Carroll were trying to do a PDF renderer.
Okay.
And we had that same sort of problem of we could not get to the data at the text rendering level, that detail, so we could actually render and do wrapping ourselves and some other things. It's a tough problem. I'm not saying that but it's one of those things where I think a bit more information has been revealed now, but it is one of those things which is if you need to go
I believe that would actually go into Skia. Would be where
it was at the time, and obviously with Impeller now, it's like, well,
there's a lot of. I think Skia, at least for a time, Skia was still used for text layout. I haven't heard.
There's a separate library, lib.
Yeah, but I haven't thought about this or heard anything about it in a long time, so I don't know if it's still true.
Half buzz. Oh, that's gonna bug me now.
Well, at any rate,
we've been derailed.
Yeah, we've been derailed. The release is long gone.
Go back.
I'm going to bring it up. This is the underlying, for those that want to care or want to look at it. It's called Half Buzz Text Shaping Engine, and
this is not sharing your screen.
Boo. There you go.
And hey, everybody, it's my hour's up, so I've got to run.
Okay.
So, thanks everybody. Enjoyed talking about all this stuff.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course, see you all next week.
Have a good one, Danielle.
Bye.
Thank you. Right. Well, quickly before we get off topic here, too much. But for people, I find this topic of text shaping really interesting. I don't know why, but it's a complex topic. If you're interested, you should check out some of the problems in that area, and Half Buzz is one of those open frameworks for doing that. Anyway, accessibility. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about?
The accessibility section I think is quite cool. So a lot of folks are aware that Flutter does not turn on accessibility by default on the web. But what it does do is render a button to turn it on that a screen reader will find. So if someone is using a screen reader, the first thing that they will see on a Flutter web app, if you don't configure it yourself, is, do you want to turn on accessibility? You want to turn on screen reader stuff? And they say yes. And then it all turns on. And the reason that it's not on by default is that it takes a lot of time for the Flutter web engine to sync its semantics tree with the browser's accessibility tools. And that can drop frames, does drop frames on the web. So this big refactor to speed up that syncing of the semantics system the semantics tree with the browser is awesome. It was just a matter of caching things and not recalculating stuff that hadn't changed. That's my understanding of the nature of the refactor. And then kind of building on that, the semantics role API that's brand new is web only. So if you're not targeting web, you're never going to target web, then don't beat yourself up about adding semantics role widgets everywhere. But if you're making a package that could go to the web, if you're one of these vanilla widget libraries, then semantic role usage would be great because people are going to use those widgets on the web. And this converts to ARIA labels and really, really helpful for folks who are consuming Flutter apps via assistive technologies. Definitely a great thing to pay attention to.
There's just that kind of it's one of those things that semantics always gets the last hurrah. I feel like a lot of apps, it's the last thing that people do, and it should be the first thing that people do. It's just it's super, I don't know. it's one of the things I wish people spend more time on it, and it's not unless they've got like a large audience that they realize, okay, there's an audience out there that I need to have my app accessible for. But sadly, it doesn't get enough attention. So it's really nice to see that there's like ways that we can actually improve that by just using new versions of Flutter, right?
Yeah, and there's a talk Manuela has given many times. Stop treating or considering or something accessibility as an afterthought. Exactly what you were just saying, Simon. Great talk.
Text input has several improvements. Text selection context menu was launched on iOS, which referenced the iOS selection below. Autocomplete was ported to use overlay portal. On tap outside, form field. Flutter selectable text in Flutter became less buggy. Always good. And more performant on web. Yeah. On the
Woo!
One of the things that I saw, I actually had the other day, was someone was trying to add find to their web app in Flutter. So find in a browser, of course, you put Control F, and then you do find, and that has the same problem of there's no accessibility to it. It doesn't quite work the same way as like a native page with DOM. But what I did say is like you can just override Control F, right? It's considered a sort of it's very much like overriding the backbone on Android. It's considered you don't really want to do that, but then when you're rendering the app yourself, that is the correct way to do it. You should be overriding the Control F, and then popping up your own search box in your own app to like actually do that, rather than treating the browser one, right? But it's a difficult one.
Yeah, and that's how Google Docs works. If you try to find in Doc, it doesn't use the native browser thing because Google Docs runs on Canvas, just like Flutter apps. So there's certainly precedent for that.
Do we have anything coming that Craig needs to take a look at?
Yeah, I could hit the question queue, and then it might be a good time for me to head out.
Is there anything from this release that you particularly want to mention as well? But I mean, we didn't really get through a lot. But
it's okay. I mean, I think folks can read it. A lot of the post front loads, I think, maybe the most exciting stuff. Obviously, hot reload on the web is at the top. But yeah, folks can read it. Remember, Flutter is in its long tail spit and polish era. That's what I would call it. So that's what I think we can all expect to see be the lion's share of updates in upcoming release notes.
I will also say that for people that don't know, there is a release notes page on the Flutter Docs website. And if you go here, you can actually get not just the announcement, but you can also get the complete sort of change log of what went in, who did it, when it was done, all that kind of stuff. And also the breaking changes that went into it. And, if you need to, like, let's say you're having problems with a certain area, go here first when you do an upgrade to see if you need to follow some deprecation rule or how you might migrate something to the next thing. Like, these are phenomenal. Everyone should be taking advantage of these, and not enough people are. So yeah, jump in here and look.
Simon, would you like to show the point for contributing as well? Because what we also see the most on top of the article is like where folks can contribute and how to start contribute. I think it is something we can still show around while we have that many things open. And Craig, would you like have an advice for folks who want to say, okay, I want to start contributing, but I don't even know what to look at first? Is there a YouTube video for that? Is there a link for that? How can I onboard to do my first contribution to Flutter framework?
Yeah, Kate and I had a boring show episode about that a few years ago, and earlier I was pontificating about the need for a refresh there, and maybe a build show episode I think could be a good fit for that. But Kate and I go through the process of, I believe we start with a git clone of the Flutter repository, I think, and select an actual issue and fix it for real on the stream and submit it and write a test for it and all that stuff. Make sure that and all the other tests pass locally, at least all the tests that are in the Flutter framework. There's countless other tests that will only run on CI. So that would still, I think, be the best starting point for someone, but a refreshed and also more succinct and less rambly presentation of that info is probably overdue.
And I do believe there's a contributing.md at the top of both of those directories, the Dart SDK and the Flutter SDK, if you want to contribute and work your way through things. Craig, I do have one question here that is tagging you. Yes, if you're illiterate, Craig, I don't know if that you personally are going to help. This person wants you to move multi-window to Flutter.
I appreciate the vote of confidence. Yeah,
as far as I'm just on this point, as far as I'm aware, from what I've been reading and understanding from the Canonical team side of things, is that they had some PRs open for multi-window. Then the team had to merge the two engine and Flutter stuff, and now they kind of have to like rebase them and kind of get them in. So they are going to get into the main Flutter repo. Just it's going to take a little bit longer than expected. So just.
That engine merge is a huge win for anyone contributing to Flutter, especially if you're contributing to the engine, because the tests for the engine and Flutter itself used to run separately. And so you'd almost need to like a transaction for your commit, but that was very hard to secure. So you could land something in the engine and then find out that it broke something in Flutter, and then you have to roll it back. Now they move in lockstep together. So it's a really big win, but some pain as it happened.
I wonder if are they still in the remember you used to get the engine roles, so you get like the new commit hashes being pumped into the Flutter repo to match up the two, and you used to get them like multiples daily, like at the very beginning of this. I remember that you'd get the engine rolls happening all the time. I wonder how much is in the history, but it's gone away now, right? Because you don't need to do that with the two.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. No more questions for Craig specifically.
Any ideas why the debugger from DevTools is in maintenance mode?
Debugger from Dev. What do they mean debugger? Is it because it was replaced by the like new inspector or something?
I guess there is a debugger tab in DevTools when you run DevTools in just web mode and not with an IDE. So you can like put breakpoints, see source code, play, pause, stop.
Ooh.
So if you're just in Dart code, like for like Dart web, you get that kind of separate debugger tab, right? Whereas if you're doing it through your IDE takes over the debugger tab. Essentially, you don't have that anymore because your IDE is doing the debugging.
I think you may have just answered the question if we have correctly understood the question.
Here's follow-up.
Push. Oh, okay. I think this is in alignment. If I'm reading this right, it sounds like it agrees with what you were just saying, Simon.
We got this new thing that we should try. All right. Cool. So there's new buttons in StreamYard here that we should try out. Like you'll bring up the comments apparently on stage.
Oh no, let's not see that. The screen already has a limited real estate. We don't need any more things on the screen.
Right, I think that's I don't think there's any more questions coming into the chat at the moment for you, directed towards you specifically, Craig, at the moment. But
well, Simon, Randall, increasingly Ezra, I see you here a lot. You all give such an amazing gift to the Flutter community through your consistent time and energy, and just a personal thank you from me. Like, I'm a morning person. The thought of me doing this at the end of my workday with the consistency that you've all done it for like 6 years now just blows my mind. I could never. So much love. Y'all are the best.
Thank you for coming.
And yeah, everyone, hit them up with your questions. You're not going to find a better place to get them answered. So
yeah.
Thank you for being here.
I see tomorrow observable Flutter. Is that right?
Yeah, I need to get the thumbnail up. I haven't actually figured out what I'm going to do yet, which is why there's no thumbnail. But I intend to stream tomorrow, so I'll be
Flutter channel, and you'll find it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Wonderful.
All right. See you, everybody.
Bye.
I'll be there.
Bye.
All right. So next question. We have things coming up in questions.
Can we get back to? I mean, people can read the release notes. Is there anything we want to cover on there briefly, or do we want to get into some Q&A? I think have you put up any questions?
I think that I would touch base on just a couple of the AI things briefly. I know we're going to cover this much more in detail on the AI series, but towards the bottom, scroll down in that list. So Firebase is shifting so you're using the Firebase API rather than using the Gemini CodeLab, the Gemini API key interface. But the old stuff still works. It's just not being supported as a separate shippable item.
Low latency bidirectional audio streaming. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting pretty clever there. And also that Gemini is in Dartpad, and it's also Android Studio has Gemini Code Assist now. So if you're developing and vibe coding, there's like about 6 ways now that I've counted that Google is now providing for you to have different tacks on being able to write code based on prompts. And I think it's just really a pretty amazing time to be around. But the last one's interesting, the MCP thing, because I've been using MCPs to extend RuCode and Klein, and there's other tools that accept that as well. It's apparently had been supported by Jin Lee as an independent package. And then at the conference, they announced, oh, we're going to do MCP directly. So that apparently his package is just early redundant because Google's taking that over. So that'll be great. And what that allows you to do is have plugins into your LLMs, and you can do anything with those. That's how it becomes agentic, using the proper keyword there. So we'll cover that more on next week's show.
AI stuff.
On the AI show. Yeah.
Totally. Well, I feel the same with Randall, like even though we were going for mostly just mainly Flutter updates today, but I can't also like stop saying like there is more if you scroll down. There is most like a lot of great things. I feel like entire delivery was quite big in every front. The AI related delivery is also like super big. And we also see the Flutter part is also getting ready for something larger and more, let's say, ready to integrate, scale more, also in every front. Like design wise, it's also like taking really good actions. Also the framework wise is quite good. AI wise is quite good. I really value this release. It's really the IO release. Maybe it wasn't like a number change from 3 to 4 or like, I don't know, 2 to 3, something like what this delivery is like quite good. Like we can totally see that.
Let's hit the rest of the questions here because I think they all relate as well, especially this one. This is a good philosophical question. With tools like Cursor and Claude, and of course, my favorite, Ru, how do you see their impact on junior devs' job prospects? Learn to flip burgers. No. Here's my take on it so far. In my experience with vibe coding, which is limited, far less than Norbert's been doing it. Go watch his stuff. He's doing really great stuff with that. But it feels to me like, given the proper instructions, LLMs are acting about the level of a junior intern. So not even a full junior dev. So that means you still need senior devs to sort of manage the flow, the same way you would need senior devs to manage junior devs. But now what's the flow then for junior devs to get to be senior devs? I'm not sure exactly, except maybe to start pair programming with a senior and an AI as 2 pairs, something like that. Then you would start to see, you could ask questions of the senior, how do you do this, how do you do that? Will we need as many junior devs? Maybe not as much. That's probably where the field is going to get crazy. I don't know. I didn't answer the question very well. Got any thoughts, please?
I mostly see, and I will just add one more part there. It's super good to answer why, how, those questions. Like this is what I use AI the most. Like, even your senior developer is the best person to answer your own questions. They have their personal life and they cannot answer your questions 24 hours, right? Mine can. I'm just there. Go read this talk. Go check this video. Tell me why. Does it make sense? Why? Not really. Why? It's just a continuous learning thing.
But I mean, with all of this, like, I think a good example of this is you need to be able, I think a good example is if you watch the vibe coding, for example, that Norbert's been doing, is that you need to be able to ask the right questions, right?
Yeah, that's the key.
It's nice you say, like, examine this for me, but then it gives you terminology. You need to be able to talk to it in the right terminology. So it doesn't get away from the need to be a developer. It's just you're using AI as a tool. But it did remind me of this post that came up recently. I don't know if you guys have read this one. I'll let you read it briefly.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I think another area to think about, though, is that you can move out of beginner and junior programmer much easier now with things like Learn LM, Notebook LM, and just being able to ask Gemini complex questions, teach me how to do this. So I think what's going to happen is the beginners and juniors are going to advance quicker to the point where they're more familiar with coding and broader ranges of knowledge, if they have that desire and that sort of directness to that. And but again, the question is learning how to ask the right questions of these wonderful sources of variably infinite amounts of good and bad text. So you kind of have to have your own filtering set up in your mind.
I just realized that was the wrong.
That was the wrong one. Okay,
yeah, that's all right. I will share another one actually, since this is actually one to share.
Okay,
it's all right. Where is it? Here it is.
But yeah, so yeah, it's not gonna. It's great for seniors. Sorry, go ahead.
This will make more sense.
Okay. Oh yeah, that one. That was funny. That was funny.
Yeah. I read it out for people that say Claude 4 just refactored my entire code base in one call. 25 tooling invocations, 3,000 plus new lines, 12 new brand new files. It modularized everything, broke up my monoliths, cleaned up my spaghetti code, but none of it worked. But boy, was it beautiful.
It's like I posted.
Matter of time.
I posted similar to that. I'm so happy for vibe coding because it 10x is my output of technical debt.
Yeah. I mean, there is way more to discuss there. The PRs raised by generated things merge without delivering the quality checks and so on. Yeah, it has a long way to go and get to adapt. But meantime, I do believe really some of the open ones will be not that accessible anymore after it's getting trained more. Like I do really expect something, to be honest, a little bad. Like, I expect to have a paycheck of at least 200, 300 per seat to be able to deliver some AI stuff when it's just like grown up. Like, because I think they'll just like move it up. But again, something for later.
Again, this is not the AI show.
We're going to get off the AI topic now. We're going to get off the AI topic.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to at least get that couple points in real quick.
Right, what's the next? Let's get through some questions. Make sure everyone.
Here we go.
Get your questions in the chat. I know I removed the banner because there was too much on the screen, but get your questions in the chat. Put Q in front. We'll get them answered.
There are 1,000 fields. I'm rendering through Switch. You don't like this, but some fields are not rebuilding if I haven't given a key to the widget. Oh,
yeah.
Old widgets need keys if you're in a list, kind of thing, probably.
Yeah, it depends on what you're putting these 1,000 fields in. If you have, let me tell you the exact rule. The rule is if you have two adjacent widgets in the hierarchy, i.e., they're siblings of each other, like brother and sister, in the same like group of children, right? They're the same type, then they need different keys. Full stop. That's it.
Yep.
Otherwise, the platform can't differentiate one from the other because it's the same type of widget, right? So, also, if you're putting that in like a builder or something, like just they go off screen, they're not being rendered anymore. They'll get freed, they'll get recreated. Like you're not going to get probably the experience that you're looking for as well. So, 1,000 fields though. What are you doing? I can't imagine anything.
I don't want to fill out. I don't want to fill out 1,000 fields ever on a phone.
Like what is this? Like
torture.
But running through a Switch, is it one of 1,000 then? Like it 1,000 different possible combinations? Is that it? Like, even that just sounds crazy to me. Like,
Really chuckling at the puzzlements we're having. This is not you. This is us just laughing at our own shortcomings here. So, all right.
Obviously, there's a reason for it, but yeah, All
right. Next one. Let's just go on to the next one. We did that one. All right. I know Canonical and Canop are working on multi-window API. Any idea on timeline? Nobody could talk timelines.
Yeah, we don't work for them. However, we can invite Canonical to the show. We have been talking. We did that before, and they were on here a couple of times. And it's probably about time that we have them back on the show to talk about the multi-window API. So we should get that on the books to sort out.
Right. Okay. And
Coming
from Train to
soon,
Thought, one of our regulars here. As a full-time Flutter developer aiming to grow into a senior role, what skills, tools, or areas should I focus on to accelerate my career progression? Prompt engineering now. Prompt engineering. Learn what it's all about. But yeah,
I mean, what the thing is, trying to thought like how can we give you what skills when we don't know what skills you already know? I mean, like, you're talking about a senior role is one where you're talking about, it's not just about the building of the code, right? Like, you're talking about like the architecture, which is all about object-oriented programming, which is all about how you bring things together. It comes from experience. So it's very hard to say like, oh, you need to know about these patterns, right? Because it's not just about knowing the patterns, it's about how to implement, when to implement them. It's more really the words. So that comes from experience. So you talk about like, you want to grow to senior, just do more code, right? I know it sounds silly, but it is that kind of thing.
And read more code. People
read more code.
underestimate reading code. I always learn new frameworks, new technologies, new languages, even by getting my hands on every single bit of code I can that relates to that. And then as I'm reading through it, if I end up with, well, what the heck's this doing? Then nowadays I'll Google and ask people and ask on chat rooms and things. Yeah, and AI, of course, to fill in my knowledge on that. But it's a great way of surveying that. The other thing is you can now ask Gemini or one of whatever your favorite LLM is. Mine's Gemini. I'm studying this subject area. Check the scope of my understanding by asking me questions, and it will quiz you now. And will help you sort of in an interactive dialogue, a chat, because of the wonderful million token context and stuff that we've got in Gemini to do that sort of learning. And Notebook LM is also great for that too. So do a content search for your particular overall topic, and then you can ask that data. We're anthropomorphizing all of this stuff, right? But you can ask the data, what are the key points in this technology, and give me quizzes on these, and it will do that in Notebook LM. So that's really handy as well.
Sometimes Simon is dropping some book names and the links to the chat. I'm wondering whether he can just like remember some, like, because this would be probably expected, but is there any book that you feel that are inspired or just like had an aha moment about programming or doing this as a size-wise?
It's been so long since I've read a book. I have no idea.
It's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I like, when we talk about like senior role as well, a senior role is not just about, as I say, it's more than just like writing code. Like the more senior you go, the less code you write. I think there's an aspect of, I mean, you talk about Flutter developer, full-time Flutter that aiming to grow into a senior role. Is it senior role in terms of Flutter senior role? Because I mean, like, I'd say that obviously if you've not been doing render objects, you've not been doing custom elements, you're not doing all these kind of like taking real use of the framework, then that's where I'd say like lean into and start like learning those areas. But to say call yourself a Flutter senior developer, you need to know the framework inside and out, right? You need to understand all the widgets, how it all functions. I think that kind of goes to Randall's talk about reading the code. Read the SDK. Command click, look through the SDK, read it, understand how those widgets work. Step through the code, put a breakpoint in, step through the framework code. You can do that. Not a lot of frameworks you can do that with, but you can do it with Flutter. So learn.
Like I did this great talk for my Dart and Flutter channel, my YouTube channel, about what's inside container. And it's really enlightening when you think about all the pieces you're building with container that you could build in a constable way with the lower level widgets. Just got to remember what those are.
I just don't use container in my things. And if I go for a container, I'm like, nope, go use the actual widget.
And luckily, there's a couple of links now that suggest the lower level constable thing. If all you're using, for example, is a size, there's a way to do that without using container at all. Yeah.
Or the other one is like another one I see all the time, like container with a color background. It's like, no, use color box, or even better, use an ink because you're top of a material, and that's how you should.
Right.
So like,
good points. All right.
Right.
Let's see.
Go on, then what's next?
I'm working on it right there. How's any cool IO freebies gifts? We didn't get a lot. We got a hat.
We got an IO hat. We got a tumbler. Of course, a tote bag to put them all in.
I think the classical IO gifts I think the person's talking about, when it says still got my Samsung S tab around here, is the ones that gave away devices. That went a long time ago. Like, I think it was at the last. I think it might have been at the last one that she gave things away on, and it was like 2012, I think. And I remember then I got like 2 tablets, 2 phones, a Nexus Q, like a bunch of stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this is worth the ticket because it's paid for this stuff. But like, the problem is that people start going there for the devices,
right? And
that's the problem, right? Like it wasn't there. You weren't going there for the device, really. You were going there for the networking experience, the talk. So they brought it back to truth and said, okay, look, we're not doing that anymore.
Yep. Okay, so enough of that. And then
I just heard the legend, never get one.
Oh wait, we did this one already. The DevTools maintenance mode.
Yep.
Right. We don't know about that. Okay. Well, then that is all the questions. So we can do some live coding, I guess.
So.
We'll get more questions. We got 30 minutes. We're doing live.
Get your questions in. We still got time. So we can always end it early.
I can also lead to stage to you.
We can try and do that lips thing we're just talking about. See if we can kind of get that working. That might be fun.
Oh yeah, let's do a squircle. Let's paint with squircles. Happy little squircles. We're right there and there and there and there.
You get a squircle. You get a squircle.
I was doing my Bob Ross. You're doing your Oprah. Okay, that'll work. Let's just mix up all the different metaphors.
Yes.
Is he typing away? Badly moving to his. He's moving to his IDE. We can tell now. He's got IDE on the brain.
Go get everything up and working. I wasn't prepared to see these. He's thinking about now. I should get prepared, but no. It's never that simple.
Why would you prepare?
Can we go deeper in the code and see what did they added there, like how it get calculated?
For the squircle, we won't see it because it's. I don't think so.
I'm wondering how deep we can go in to see
how deep. Let's see how deep we can go. Isn't that what was that film was that from? Where they go into people's dreams.
Inception.
Yeah, it's like how deep can we go?
Right. Squircleception.
Oh, that's when you put squircle in another.
Squircles inside squircles.
Nested squircles. There we go. We should draw something that draws nested squircles of various sizes.
It sounds like a widget which has a sound effect, but it doesn't.
Right. It should. You're right.
It was what was that a Pokemon that's called Squircle?
It's Squirtle. Yeah, it's
near it. It's
no.
A long time ago. Right. Let's see what we can do. Share. You can share. Ding dong. There we go.
It's coding time. Coding time here on today's Humpday.
Coding time on today's Humpday Q&A. Right.
Coming up next.
What version actually? I mean, we didn't know what version. We need to update that.
Oh yeah. Oh no. That could be a while.
Updated no, I've already got it. It's all right. Just need to.
Okay, good. Because I remember the last time you tried to update live on the air and everything messed up.
Oh, it was horrible.
Oh, I can answer this while you're doing that. Everybody can answer this. Not that. Sorry. It slid. Darn it. I hate it when Stream does that. Why did the Dart team discontinue the Dart macros project? Because they've only have so much resources, and they're now devoting them to fixing squircles, which is great.
More squircles.
Yes, more squircles. We need more. You need more accurate Cupertino widgets. No, it's because the ROI just wasn't showing up on it. There's just like a lot more investment than they thought they would have to put into it to make it work. And they figured out finally that they were throwing a lot of time and energy at things that would not pay back on the ROI necessarily. So they're working on things like making build runner faster, on making augmentations work better. Primary constructors is another one. That'll be fun when we get primary constructors the same way we have them for type extensions now. When we get that in basic classes as well, that's on the to-do list, so it'll be coming out eventually. That'll be fun.
I'm just turning off my camera to not be on top of the IDE anymore, but I'm here.
Okay, all right, we can hear your voice, so that's close enough.
Yeah, I'm directly on IDE, you know.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. She is the voice of the IDE. That's what it is. You could be announcing things. When there's an error message, you'll have to read it out loud.
Oh yeah, I will. Okay, I'm in.
Your job.
So we want to look at let's go look at squircles, shall we? And then we'll also look at the ellipse thing and see if we can do that. Unless anyone else has got any coding suggestions or want to look at something, we'll do that as well.
Oh, this is from last week. We'll continue the scroll position preservation thing. We didn't finish that.
Do that as
weeks
well.
Ago. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that kind of slipped my mind.
Yep. And I guess this is a follow-on to the earlier question. 1,000 fields for a betting game where user can input any number bet field. I'd probably go with a 2-field form then. One that picks the number and the other that picks the bet. You don't need to have all the numbers, all 1 through 1,000 with fields by them. That's crazy.
I
think
you do whatever you need to do. That just sounds crazy.
Yeah. Show us a code. Put it in.
I think you need to look at UX. It's not really about like the technical side of it. It's more about the UX side, I think, at the moment.
I'm not scrolling through 1,000 field form. I am definitely not scrolling that far. That's not my idea of a fun scroll.
Let's do it.
Hey, faster.
Hey, faster.
This is how I feel when I'm watching Norbert. Like,
yeah. Learn to prompt there, sir. That'd be great. Just prompt it in.
So what should we do? Just display like a piece of material with the shape, squircle shape?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I can't.
It's
super
ellipse. Yeah.
Rounded super ellipse border. That's the one. There needs to be a type alias. I'm going to now. I'm going to put PR in for type alias for squircle border.
Yep. Exactly. Get your squircles. Get your squircles here. We've got another cue here. Let's see here. Okay. Well, here's the problem. The client is driving the UX. That's just wrong.
Fit in any desktop betting game screen with variable.
This is don't be pixel. Don't be pixel. I've got a shortcut for this.
Figure out
be responsive
using fitted. Don't do that. That's how you do that.
Don't do that. Right. Yes. Learn responsive. I'll post my link in there for that.
Yeah, you cannot have a fixed layout and have it fit any screen.
Right.
No work. You need to have a layout that will change to based on the screen real estate. I mean, yeah, otherwise you do what you just said. You wrap it in a fitted box with like contain, and then you're going to have either borders at the top and bottom or borders at the left and right, and that's it. Right? Because you can't match the aspect ratio. That's the whole point.
Right.
The original layout aspect ratio does not match the destination aspect ratio. Otherwise, you just make it bigger.
Yeah, so I just pasted in the URL for Pixel Toast's talk. Pixel Toast is the same guy that did Puro and Boxy, and he wrote up a nice thing on why you don't do pixel-based scaling. You just do the proper thing as Flutter wants it to be. Right. Oh, we actually have a question that involves a gist. I guess like, yeah. So some text struct and a rich.
We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Let's put that to one
Sure.
side. Right, so super lips. Let's I guess we'll run this and we'll see where it goes. There's what else we have? We've got, so let's go take a look here. So we're saying that, okay, so you've got as an outline border, with a mixin, rect like border. Okay, so this is what gives it the border radius. So I guess this internal mix is put on the rounded super ellipsoid and the rounded border, which would make sense so that you can like mix between them. But yeah, it's like this: add R super ellipse, and there you go. There's your implementation, right? Like you're not going to get, because this is native. See, like you're not going to get the actual underlying. I mean, we could do that. Don't get me wrong, but we need to go look up this symbol inside the Flutter engine. You can certainly do that. Hang on. This will be fun. So we're gonna go hunting. Just chuck it in the search box and see what comes up. Good. Just to let anyone know, GitHub search is absolute trash most of the time. However, apparently this time it found it first time.
Nice.
So yeah, so here's the definition in path.h and path.cc. Here's the method. So let's go look at that. We've got Web UI, has its own implementation, of course, because it has its own renderer. Painting. Here's the export for Dart UI. So this is how it's exporting the version we just looked at to approximate rect. Properly implement RCRX on web instead of falling back to rounded rectangle. Dun dun dun. No, no, that's it. They didn't implement it. Oh no. So it looks like web does not implement super ellipsis yet.
Oh no.
So we'll give this, the way we work this is we go thumbs up, and then we post this in the chat, and anyone who wants this on web, you got to give it a thumbs up.
I was just wondering, because you go for like x divided by a, y b like equals to b, and then the n you have is they're shaping the curve of it. And I was wondering really how close they are there. But
it looks like they're using a
3, 4. People are thumbing it up right now. It's great.
Playlist.
The power of this show. 5. Lovely. 6. Thank you.
The Flutter team will be like, why they're obsessed with
why is this something?
what's happening there now?
It's of interest. Right.
So by the looks of what I'm reading here, we have DL Path Builder, display list Path Builder. That has an implementation that takes a display list rounded super ellipse. So those that don't understand how rendering works, this is we're going into the inner workings here, but the general gist of it is when you do paint inside Flutter, you're not actually rendering anything, you're not drawing anything. What you're doing is building a list of instructions that's sent to the GPU, and the GPU does all the hard work, right, of drawing the pixels. So what this is essentially doing here is this is exactly what it's doing here. Add super ellipses to a path. Then this path can then be used to actually do the sent as part of the rendering instructions over to the GPU to actually do the rendering. So there needs to be the calculations, and this is this here, make rec radii that I'm looking for. In fact, let's go search for that. That's quite unique. Hey, look, found it. Rounded superellipses.cpc. There you go. Let's have a quick look down. DL builder, yeah. So interrupt for impeller toolkit. We have another one. So we've got impeller geometries, rounded superellipsis, and then we've got painting rounded superellipsis. Okay. So DR rectangle for the bounds, radius sizes. There's a lot of this is just association logic, so just hanging on to fields. That's all that's doing. So that's just to be clear for those that so I kind of skipped that. Whatever. Each of those Dart classes in the back here are backed by to do the native stuff are backed by a native instantiation of a class. So you see his native field wrapper. That's what that does, right? So this basically means that when this constructor is being called here, path create, it creates a native object that is an object in the C++ land, and then attaches it to this Dart object, and that's how it can make the two things work together. So you have the path, the native path always has a sort of a version of itself in the C code attached to it, should we say? And then when you call one of these functions, they're calling out to that native code, and that's what we just saw, that binding logic. All right, so here's the impeller logic. So rounded superellipsis, another class, another structure. Sorry. Again, this is just a header, basically. Pretty much all of this is just sort of like glue logic, for want of a better word. Like the actual whole thing kind of comes down to like one line. Okay, so I think we kind of learned something here. What's that?
We learned.
Experiments have shown that using the same corner radii for the rounded rectangle provides an approximation that is close to optimal, as achieving a perfect match is not feasible. So I'm very confused right now because this is telling me that a rounded superellipse is actually returning back a rounded rectangle. So I have that's just the way they've implemented it in impeller, or I must be missing something. I feel like
weird, or it just pretends to be done. But I saw it in the keynote. They showed the two different ellipses in the keynote.
So here's the split. Yeah, this is what I was expecting. Replacing. Split between left and right. Yeah, here you go. Okay, this is what we're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the pre-computed variables that work out the ratios, right? Ooh, math. This is working out the parameters. Find circles.
Ooh, the shade. Yeah.
I love the ASCII drawings. Those are great.
Why did they just
use? Yeah, they should have just used Mermaid, because Mermaid works in those documents.
I'll be honest with you, I prefer this because you can actually just see that, right? It doesn't matter what editor you're in, you know, any possible.
Oh yeah.
Unless you have variable pitch font, like some people do.
Then you're considered an evil coder.
We're gonna get letters now. We're gonna get letters.
That's fine.
If they can figure out how to send a CBL.
Well, this is actually what I was looking for. Don't ask me how we got to that approximate stuff, because this is what we're actually looking for, which is the correct calculations.
Yeah.
But as we were saying
sorry
earlier,
if it is too deep. I was just wondering whether it's really going backhill here or yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't think people realize to make that shape. All the math that goes into it, like it's a lot more than what you think. Bezier factors, yeah. Oh, I remember this from days of old.
And still
I did an implementation of this. I wonder if I still got it. I did an implementation of this on Android. What's it called? Squircle, right? Nope. Where did I put it? Oh, hang a minute. Hang on. I want to see if I can. Might be in my gists, you know that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is this it?
Oh.
Oh my god. When was this? When did I do this? When was this?
Oh yeah.
Active last month. We must have looked at it last month then.
Okay.
2018. There you go.
Yeah.
Revise this gist. This was a port. I must have done that squircle border. Super radius. There you go. Now I was just doing like the basic form. That's the whole math to do the squircle border in my one compared to the other one, right?
Yep.
Simple.
You got the center, you got radius, you got the wire, then you got a pad. Then you move around.
Wow.
And then you close it. Okay.
So it's just is that doing each little corner by itself?
Yeah, it's a cubic, right? So this is working out. This is working out the control points for the cubic curves based on the superellipsoid ratio, right? But
sure, yeah, exactly. I would have said the same thing.
Right, it's a lot simpler than all of this for sure. All right, back to reality here. Let's go back.
Math is hard. Yes, that's why I let computers do it.
How do we like? I wasn't seeing that we got border radius. R superellipse, which defines the shape from left. Okay, hang a minute. R rect like. How does one? I mean, I can give it like a border radius. Is that just going to take that border radius and apply it? And it adds.
Is there an example on the
to creates an R? Okay, there you go. Creates an R superellipse on the current border radius. So this is taking that rectangle and then the radii for each of the corners and turning it into an R superellipse. Okay, shape. So let's put a padding here.
Actually, in the article, there is 3 ways of doing it. Painting a widget shape, it's as you do around the superellipse border. There is clip R superellipse for clipping, and there is canvas one to have more direct control, which is again in the article.
Let's do this. Let's wrap this. Yeah. Let's do 100 by 100. 50. Yeah. So now let's do that by 200. Okay, and then just want to like subtly show people the difference between this and a rounded rectangle. So we've got this. So we've got column. Let's get rid of that. So we've got column with 2. There you go. Can you spot it? It's very subtle. between a rounded rectangle and a super ellipse. What we could do is we're going to wrap these in a transform dot scale. Do I want to do this? Oh, we can do this. Let's do a matrix. This is either going to get really bad or really well, but we'll find out either way. No, I want a. Let's scale it by 3. Let's do that.
Not scaling into the z-axis.
Yes, that will make a big difference.
It's really deep. I can tell if I go slightly to the right, there's this giant tube sticking out. It'll make a difference when we start getting heads-up displays.
Someone is saying this is iOS super fashion.
Yeah, right.
Can you spot the difference, anyone?
He is saying add a stack for better comparison.
Yep.
I mean, then you need to make it a little transparent.
Let's put them on top of each other and make one color and the other another color. Let's do that. Let's do that.
A little transparency also.
And he's about to construct the same diagram that we saw in the keynote that he hasn't seen yet.
Oh, am I?
Yes, you are. But go ahead, keep going. Let's see if you how
I'll
well you
stop
do.
then. Should I stop?
No, keep going. I want to see it work. People will learn from this. They'll learn what not to do or what to do, depending on how well you do it.
How well I do it? Yes. Thank you for that, Randall.
This show will be
motivation.
Yeah, this show will be useful for experience, either good or bad. That's what we guarantee every week. It's a show that gives you experience.
It gives you a experience.
It might be good, might be bad. We don't know yet. We never know going in, but that's fine.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh yes, it is. That's in the keynote, just like that.
Look at those
I
lovely
think we with those colors. No, I think it's red and blue in the keynote. But okay.
I'm sure when you said it is quite a subtle difference, some folks were like, "What difference?"
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I do yellow.
Same as the keynote. Yeah, we can pull up the keynote and fast forward to that spot, and you can see that it's already in the show. Yes, that's great. It is a subtle difference. Anybody who can see that is much more of a designer than I would ever be. I don't care. But perfection of squircles. This is what we get.
There you go.
When I was going to say it's when the Dart team stopped doing macros, but this is the Flutter team doing this. So,
but yeah, this is it's very subtle, but it is one of those things that funny enough, it does a lot of those shapes. They look a bit weird. I don't know why it works so well, but you do a super ellipsoid and it looks so much nicer than a rounded rectangle in a lot of places. It depends on the radii. Depends on the radii.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. What's next on our exploration list? What are we gonna do?
We did have the scroll thing. Let's see. This thing.
We could do that, I guess.
Scroll position thing. And then there's also this.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's look at the code because that came in. So you've got a rich text widget, and you want to achieve something. Let's bring it up.
You're rich.
Hide the question.
Yes.
Hide the question. We'll get more screen real estate here. Okay. Can we have the same structure on a rich text widget? How to achieve the same visual in rich text as text. I'm trying to achieve the same visual experience in text painter main code base below. Minimal step in preview. What?
Don't know. It looks the same to me.
Is it because it's wrapping? Is that the problem? What is? So is that text at the top? we got 3 variants here, and we got the code. Let's load the code. Let's load the code. That would be helpful, right?
Ship it. Roll the code. Put it in the store. Set it up for test flight.
All right, let's do that. So what we're saying here is we got scaffold, we got text, rich text, and default text style, all using the same style, supposedly.
Theory.
And that style is this, Montserrat, Google Fonts. Do I have Montserrat? Oh, it does work. Okay. Hey a minute. Hang on a minute. No, I don't know. No. Where is it? Where is it? I need to fix it. No. It's happening.
What?
It's happening, everyone.
What's happening?
Where is it?
Meantime, the person
Formatter. What was it? What was the rule? Trading commas. Preserve. And what was it? What was it?
Preserve and protect it. In line width. You'll probably want page width. There we go.
I was about. Let's see. Did it work? Did it work? Can I put my comma back in, please? Oh, thank you. Right. Okay.
Crisis moment here with the question in the wrong place.
Right. So last question skipped, Randall.
And that's just I've been answering Freeman in the chat.
Okay. Okay, so let's fix this, I guess. First of all, safe area. That's better. Right. So looks fine to me.
Yeah.
I didn't make any code changes. Maybe upgrade to the latest version of Flutter, and your problem is solved. Because according to you, it doesn't work, and according to my IDE, it's worked. Like my look on the left, it's exactly the same in all 3.
But here's his response. Top is 3 lines, but the next 2 lines because it's different text. Or is
no, because it's wrapped. No, it's because it wraps, right? Like it's just enough pixels for it to wrap. Probably because of in your example, somehow you're getting are you running? Is this output from the same example? It is, right? I mean, you might be running into like run it, wrap it. If I didn't have the safe area, did it actually do it differently? No.
The person just mentions the web part, but that should be exactly the same, no?
Well, is this on web? Maybe I missed that.
This is kind of web or desktop view, no? The screenshot added, because the person said top is 3 lines, next 2 lines, and my primary goal is for web build.
Oh, okay.
Can we try other simulator?
I'm wondering if the rich text ability to be selectable text is getting in the way. Plain text.
I think this is just how font rendering is slightly different on both, right? Let's see. Okay. Yes.
The one on top, yes.
You see the one slightly on top is slightly longer than the one underneath.
I think the ellipses are turning into ellipses instead of being a single character.
No, this is
First one is more indented, and others are a little bit.
Actually, you're all right. Yeah, there's a spacing problem at the beginning here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Let's have a look. So we say that text is interesting because text itself is applied with rich text. It might be that you're not copying over the strut styles. So what happens is what you're missing here is you're copying over the font style, but not the strut style. So strut styles actually comes over from the default text style, right? So you would have been getting let's have a look here, final strut style. Yes, well, that's correct. That's the idea. That's what's. So let me explain. Just for those people that don't understand what that. Well, let me hang on. Let me do this first of all. Damn. Where is it? I'm trying to remember where it's defined now. Oh well, look. Let's go find out. So if anyone cares to know, so inside the text widget is not the lowest level widget, because if you go look inside the text widget, you'll find that what it actually does is it wraps the rich text widget. So it does a bunch of stuff in here around like getting the default style, right? And applying the various different things that need to do that, including the text scaler. If you're on desktop, mouse region stuff, so you can do text selection. And then it basically outputs a rich text widget with those defaults applied. And that's basically what we're basically fighting against here. Where are we? Rich text, selectable text container. So unless you get the same parameters and pass them over to here as to what this is actually getting, these two won't be the same, right? So the fact that you've got like, so strut style's not been applying a text width basis might be the appropriate change that you're seeing. Hold up. Let's see what we can apply, shall we? Let's get the default style and just see what is actually causing the. No, the thing's at the beginning. Where is that space come from at the beginning? Let's do.
Can it be, just wondering, if you scroll down, we have the text one. Text one, I assume the text widget we have is the more plain one, and the other one like rich text and default style text. I feel like, what if instead they have something in the beginning, like you add a safe area, like a small padding or like a shaping around to make it safe for whatever reason? Because, you know, in rich text, I can make underlined text, and underlined text start just before a little, then the letter start rendering. So I will put like 2 pixel, 3, or is it exactly the same place? I'm just wondering.
Did that just lose the settings for debugging when it hot reloaded? I feel like it just did. That's interesting. I think we found a bug in hot reload. Anyway,
the other two have something like padding around when the text
I know what this is. This is not what you think it is. I know exactly what this is. It's not padding.
I don't know. What's that?
Well, let me just do the first thing. I said this on to everyone. How many times on the show have I told everyone this?
Oh yes, our favorite. Yes.
Okay, now they're aligned.
Not right, not yet.
So no, they're aligned. They're not the same length, but they're aligned, right? So what we were saying was padding is because it was centered. By default, column centers, right? So if I do cross-axis alignment start, it's the same thing. They're now going to have the same left axis, right? Now what you're seeing here is letter spacing being the problem.
Yes.
Right? So you've got a slightly different kerning or letter spacing being applied. I'm going to assume that that's what it is. Let's just try something here. Copy with false letter spacing to 0. Okay, now that they're both the same size.
Yeah.
So what you're experiencing here, this will now wrap correctly, obviously, is the 2 or 3 lines, as you were saying, right? Based on what it is. So yeah, the it's the letter spacing. Now, where that letter spacing is coming from is about how that's been applied. So this is definitely coming from your default style. So it could be one of those inherited problems. Let me just fix this. Doesn't need children. Just make it things complicated. Hey. Oh, no, that's fine. 8.
Someone may have the solution
there. So look.
See if I can pull it up and then I can paste it to you, or you can pull it up. How do you cut out of here? Yes. Okay. Yes.
With great difficulty.
Yep.
I can bring that up. I would if I didn't get 404 when I did it. Yeah. Oh, I missed it. So the original one, open it.
I got it.
Wrap
Yeah.
only the end of long text following an inline element in Markdown. This is not it. This is something else. Right.
Okay.
So look. So what we're trying to resolve here is the fact that the letter spacing for this top one is different from the bottom two. So rich text should be getting the default text style that's been applied. This style is you're overriding the default text style. So it doesn't apply. I think the problem here is this doesn't apply them the same way. So if you want to override text style, you need to do merge, not just override it, right? And then what you're doing is merging the two. Still an issue. Yeah, so the tiles are being merged. So we're saying that the top one is losing it's got different letter spacing. No. Oh, I see. Well, it doesn't have one. It never has, but it does have a strut style. And that's why I was thinking about that. But that's not going to apply. It's not going to change the letter spacing. We've just identified it's definitely the letter spacing by zeroing it out, and it works. So what we're seeing here is that this is going to default letter spacing, which means that's based inside the style itself, which means that this style that's been applied is how it's inheriting the values. Right, this is how it merges the values together. I wonder if it's actually just so this is taking the default text style and if it should inherit, it does a merge. Why would this be any different? I can only assume that this merge is actually taking the original letter spacing coming down because the one above doesn't have it. So if I was to force letter spacing to here, 0, then now that all the
would be my question. Like, would that work? I was waiting for you to finish that one, but yeah.
Well, there you go. There's the solution for you.
Exactly.
Right. So set your letter spacing.
Yeah.
So what's happening here is you're applying a text style here, but that doesn't inherit and merge the same styles as what's previous. So yeah, it's just a case that you're not merging correctly when you're trying to override. But there you go. Problem solved.
Yep. But then you don't need the merge one for the third one, right? Like the third one, you have style.merge. Now you can remove that one and it will still work, right? Because you already passed it there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So Flutter for me, that was your answer. We've got one more question in here.
You got a thanks.
This one here. Anyone know what happened to the default lint rule for adding const everywhere? I bet that got flip-flopped because of the comma thing. Oh, no, unrelated.
It's still there.
It's still there. It still works. I recommend everybody immediately just install a very good analysis package in their package because it seems to have the right combination of being particularly aggressively restrictive. So that would have the rule that puts const everywhere that it could. But default, I don't know if that's changed. Has it changed?
I know. I'm going to look for it.
No, the rule is still there. Definitely, the rule is still there because it gets triggered all the time for every time.
Prefer const in immutables and prefer const constructors, right?
Yeah.
Prefer const declarations over final. I mean, there's a
Is there a particular one that you think has changed recently, and would it be backward compatible thingies? Nothing says new since, right? So no, these have probably been around for a while.
The one that everyone sees inside layout is prefer const constructors.
Mm-hmm.
Under this, it hasn't changed
Yeah. So maybe nothing. All right. So we did that. We just finished this. We've got this one back to our scope.
I don't see try adding const constructors anymore. Oh, you're saying you're not getting the lints now that you add it. Okay. Don't know what I got in here. There you go. Came straight up. You don't get it if your code can't be made const, right? So for example, if I get rid of this, like none of this can be made const because it's all dynamically variabled, right? Like,
yep.
I mean, if I bird const constructors was removed in int 5 for something like that, it's not included anymore. Okay, so you have to add it back yourself, is what Mike is saying here. So yeah, you need to do what I just did there and add it back into your list of rules.
Or use very good analysis, which already has that float on. Right.
And there's also this one as well, like prefer const in the mutable.
In particular, what VGA does that most people don't remember to do is essentially gets rid of dynamic. Every place you stupidly do dynamic will be flagged. And,
you can enable that in
it's analysis options. Yeah, it's up there in the upper part.
I'm trying to remember. There's it's not the linter.
Nobody remembers how to do that. It's in the analysis page.
It's going to bug me now. I can't hang on. Customize and static. There is. There you are. Strong mode.
Yep.
And then stuff like that. So that's in under analyzer. Why didn't it come up? Oh, I'm not getting. It's still there. Like, I swear it's strong mode.
It's strict mode.
Yeah. No. Language. They changed analyzer language. The docs are actually old. Okay. It was renamed. There you go. Strict cast, strict inference, strict raw types.
Yep. Turn those on, and your life will be much safer and more friendly.
Well, more explicit.
Yes, that's true. I'm not talking about your outside world life. I'm talking about your programming life. Yes.
I wonder if it's identified anything in here. There you go. Look. There you go. So now it's going to say, "Oh no, I can't do this because it's going to like." I've got dynamic and it's automatically going to map a string of dynamic. So I have to either test it beforehand or have to explicitly say as map. And then I can I do that? Even
no, because now it's map dynamic. You can't do that.
Yeah, but I should be able to take final. Oh, boo-hoo, right. Yeah, but data 2 is going to be dynamic at this point, right?
Yeah. So that's going to blow up when you put it in there.
Right, but then why I should be able to do this to explicitly do something like this. Yeah. Okay, cool. It isn't me. Yeah, there you go. You're basically explicitly saying I want it to be this, and you'll get a cast error what's it, cast exception? I can't remember what it is when it's not correct. But yeah,
meantime, I put a change log, and Dartlang issued that they discussed the reason why, and they are saying like daily source of friction was a lot because during development, the lints enforcing const are constantly nagging developers. Make this const. This cannot be const anymore, and so on like that.
Also, or they have made it so that it just does it for you. Now we're going to turn off the
there.
It can't automatically add const or automatically remove const because it may change the semantics. It would take time to figure out if that's true.
LLMs solve everything.
That's right. It. We need a constable LLM plugin. Yes, there we go. That and the scroll thing is it. So if you want to do the scroll thing, or we can call it a show.
Oh, it's 7:30. Oh.
2.5 hours, man. They're just longer than many movies.
Like the time has just flown away. What were we doing before? I know we started doing annotations. I remember this. To find the widget underneath.
Scroll preservation.
I wish you a great rest.
I really wanted this to actually be in it's one of those things as well. I want to be inside the oh no, not web. Although interestingly, I do have to upgrade apparently. Right, stop.
Oh no. Upgrading live on the air.
No, we're not doing that. No. I'm going back to Android. So we were doing this before, weren't we? Where as we were scrolling, as you'd scroll, we'd let go, and then we work out that actually we found post 04 in this case at the beginning of the scroll, and it was y offset 32. So you can set the y offset of the scroll view to 32, right? Instead of it being the offset above, and that way you can put data in at the beginning and essentially get to negative numbers.
So that's the consting. No measurable
there you go.
Performance. That's why. So just annoying and not doing anything useful. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Talking about which? Now I'm not being bothered by them. Did we do the negative? We really get. I don't remember what we got to now. Anchor original post.
Weeks ago is a long time.
I'm also quite hungry right now.
Yeah. Call it a day and come back to this next week, maybe.
But like we're putting it off again. I don't want to put it off. It's really cool, interesting stuff. I think what we'll do. Let's arrange. People can be around. Containers not being been a big deal. No, I think it's more about see. I want to like look at that because David, like before I start sort of like harping on about that, because it may not have a runtime measurable impact, and this is maybe a startup measurable impact because there is object construction that you're not taking place at runtime. Right? That once it's just initialized in memory, it definitely has a startup. It would definitely have an impact on startup time, I was sure. But I'd like to read those posts before we start talking about it publicly and like allowance in one way is better than another, right? At some point, just want to know if maybe it's on GitHub somewhere. What, Lucas? What was this? Yeah. Oh, I just missed reading into a conversation. Anyway, right. What was I saying? So min scroll negative. So we should be able to go up infinity. Yeah. All right, should we just try this? This should actually work now. I don't think there'll be much in the way of changing this. So at the moment we postfix, right? So we have these items. Let's change the number of items in here to something small. Let's do 20 for a second. And okay, so here's our 20 items. Now the point here is if I scroll down, what I want to be doing is adding items above this. And we're going to see if we can do that. So let's do it. Let's do it. First of all, add post. How we create post, we're going to do it there. So let's just do that. Let's do string post index or something. I can't remember what was in the account. There's a reason for doing this. I'm not sure I'll get to it in a second. I want add to insert the beginning, and I want to set up an order list so we can see the right way around. So this was going to be I, yeah. Okay, and then this can then be insert at 0. So let's try this out. So we got 0 to 1 going down. If I hit play, you see it's getting pushed down the screen slowly. It's hard to tell. I think what I'm going to do, we're going to implement a slightly better visual than this because it's not really jiving with me. So we're going to do card, color, material. Is it material colors that's got the... I'm trying to remember if it's normal colors. No, is it colors.material colors? I forget.
The rainbow thing?
Yeah. It's colors up primaries, isn't it?
Colors and accents. Accents is the better one.
Oh, you like accents then? Yeah, sure, we'll do that.
Yes. Those are
and then we want do we have index around here somewhere? No, we don't. So we'll do it. Dot indexed and then index post.
That is so slick. I am so happy that went in. That put us on par with Python finally. That was nice.
Touch and go then. We might have to switch to Python.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh hell no. You can't take my arbitrary indents away from me.
All right. This is actually so average basis of index, which is actually wrong. What we actually need to do magically is this cool thing. When we do post.hashcode modulus, they will actually all keep their right colors. So they'll all be random colors. They're no longer a thing. But if I create a new post, the orange one moves down, you see, because it stays with it, right?
Nice.
Anyway, so now you see it again pushed down, right? So what we're saying is, I've forgotten what I was saying now. We nearly got there, but this isn't working, is it? We want insert 0. But we want our layout. Yeah, this is what I'm getting to before. I think we would need to switch away from rendering the way we're rendering them. We could. That's kind of annoying, actually. Yeah, let me think. We had this before. Oh, it also out. Into negative space. But when you add widgets, it's because the layout code is based off of that and not based off of the index, right? So this it's the same reason I just put the index in there with the hash code. The layout of widgets in viewport is based on index, right? When we actually need to base it off of a start position instead. I think we put in, where was it? Yes, the original post center. It's supposed to keep. I seem to think that was supposed to fix this.
I know you worked on that 2 weeks ago.
The first child in the growth direction forwards. In the growth direction forward growth direction. Children after center will be placed in the axis direction relative to the center. Children before the center will be placed in the opposite of the axis direction relative to the center. See, what we essentially want to do is note down it's almost like a super pixel position. This is not going to happen with this. Like we'd need to go to the render layer ourselves. I mean, we can do that here, like at a build layer. It wouldn't be optimal, but there's a way of doing this, right? Which is we can return back just the widgets that we expect to see in the viewport based on our scroll index. Based on our post index, original post index, right? So this is not original, origin. So we talked about this before. When we scroll, let's do this briefly. Like we'll comment this out, and this see where we get to. We'll time box this. 50 minutes starting from now. There you go. Right. Let's do this. So we want to lay out a column of widgets that you can scroll to. That as you scroll, will lay out more widgets and will offset themselves based on the scrolling viewpoint. So let's go stupid basic, and then we'll work to more detailed, right? So first of all, we're going to go really stupid. Okay, don't do this at home, as they say. Don't try this at home. So we're going to say, let's just first of all do our postcard. And we'll pop in our card widget. And we're going to need that post. String. I did it. Ezra, go.
Oh.
Ezra.
I'm actually here. I was just like backing up from the IDE.
Oh, don't worry. I'll scroll up. Don't worry. So we have a postcard that we can pop in here as a widget. Let's just drop that back in here so we don't confuse things. Right. And we're going to create a set of children which are going to be those postcards, right? Like this is like, you get a lot of widgets. This is a bad idea. We're not going to do recycling and like slivers just at this moment in time. Let's first of all just get what we want to render in there, and then we can kind of work out what happens next. So run this. Okay, it's good. Now we want what I've always said I should put in. I didn't put in. Just stretch. There you go. Boom. Okay, so now we have our widgets in there and overflowing, which is awesome to see. Right. So now we want to do wrap this in a layout builder. And let's return the column from that. And inside our column, we want to wrap this in let's do a transform dot translate. Offset will be where do we get our origin? We had like an origin offset, didn't we? What were we saving that? It was. I feel like we were solving this by jumping the scroll view. I feel like I'm missing something here, but we'll figure that one out. We're probably going to flip this around in a minute, but we'll do anyway. So position dot pixels in the Y direction. This will be negative because the higher the pixels, the further down you are. So now if I drag, it crashes. Great. We'll come back to that. So I I put the annotated region around the wrong thing. That'd be why. Right, let's go fix that annotated region. There you go. Right. I don't know why we had a builder in there. I don't need that anymore. And we don't need the annotated region because we've got that now. Boom. Yeah, we should actually have a key on here. Then being sibling widgets and all that talk we mentioned earlier. Right. So now what we need to do is have this refresh and rebuild when the the scroll position changes, right? So this is actually a position. I think, yeah, the viewport offset is a change notifier, so we need to use a listenable builder, not a value listenable builder. And get rid of that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to change the transform based on that. So we're going to take our column, drop it in as a child, just so we don't have to rebuild all those children unnecessarily, which is always a bonus. Right. So let's see what happens. Now we have a list. We overflow. Fine. We have a list. And if I click and drag, it does nothing. Oh. What do we break? I think the render overflow is stopping it from laying out, which I was going to fix with the layout builder. So we'll do that now. Yeah. So we're going to wrap out. Sorry?
You cannot break the laws of physics.
Oh, I can indeed. Yep. So we want to wrap our scrolling thing in a overflow box. Overflow size box. Size box. So we want our min width and our max width to be the constraints max width, because we're going to match that. This is going to be real hacky right now, but you know we'll do it anyway. And then the min height to be constraints max height. It's basically just doing the biggest constraints. Right, let's see how that kind of goes. Okay. Did I get that wrong? Maybe I did. Let's try that. I feel like I. Oh wait. I am. Am I? I might be. Right. Wait. What's going on here? Size can be double.
You can say that height, that width, something, or this.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to construct the size object there.
No, it's fine. But no, I didn't think it was that. I'm doing this wrong. No. Hang on. 1 second. 1 second. I know what I'm doing wrong here. I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. Yes, that's what I was doing wrong here. Okay, so these are the constraints that are passed down inside and replace the constraints on the outside. Okay, so there's no overflow anymore. There shouldn't be an overflow anymore. Let me just make sure I got that right. Restart. So we've got a problem with yeah. That's fine. Now, why is this not scrolling? Is the next problem. So looking into the position, and we're applying our translate. That's really interesting because we don't send scroll events because we're not really a proper scroll view. And we depend on scroll events to perform this logic up here. Possibly? Question mark. Why would my position not update with my controller though? So let's get rid of this for a second. Let's just do that. Okay. I've done a paper. We said 15 minutes, right? I think it's been 15 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
This is going to bug me now.
You might be able to solve it in 5 minutes. You have before.
All right. Well, let's. Why am I not getting position updates? Is the question. I mean, so scrollable will adjust the position and will change notifier when you move, unless this has been. Let me do ignore pointer here for a second. Maybe. Why is this scrolling not scrolling? Scrollable has let me down.
Where are your scrollables?
What is going on here?
Definitely.
A billion times.
See how it's nested.
Am I gonna have to go searching for my previous like Humpday code?
Oh no.
Do we have anything? Humpday 12. that long ago.
Infinite scroll position.
That was some fun. We did another one here where we do a scrollable. Is it? No, this was scrolling when we had a viewport, right? Yeah. I mean, we actually did some other similar ones around. Circular scroll thing. Whatever that was.
To what you're doing here. How do we access the layer? The debug layer should not be used. Is that anything you were looking at?
Yeah. We're gonna address that later. What was this? This is interesting. Humpday 2024. Hang on. I don't know what this is. A circular list.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is definitely doing. It's probably going to need a larger screen, actually. But let's see what it looks like on a phone. Oh, no.
Cute.
That's that. Do you know what's interesting, though? I think they've changed something in the most recent version of Flutter. Because that's not scrolling either.
Oh, well, that's important.
Oh.
And that definitely would have worked before.
That's right. I remember it moving.
Yeah, so do I. So maybe we should look into this. Maybe we found a bug. Maybe we should report this, right?
We found a bug in scroll. The ancient scrolls work better than the modern scrolls.
So scrollable handles the position updates, put it through the physics, but won't scroll away. Well, I know why. I'm pretty sure I know why this isn't scrolling. Hang on. Oh no, You should scroll here after this point.
That's
why our last scroll possibly wasn't working if it doesn't have these, but why you no work?
Send Ask Gemini. Put that all into Gemini and say, why isn't this working? It'll make something up for you.
So scroll won't take place, and this is actually the bug. This is actually reason why I think the current one is working. So before we start jumping onto it's a bug in this version, because you know that's not what I want to be doing. Yeah, so we're going to do something a bit dodgy, just a bit dodgy.
That's probably what got you in trouble in the first place. You did something a bit dodgy.
This is just all hacky without doing like without the render object. Like this is just like asking for trouble.
There we go. Simon takes us off the deep end once again.
Shush.
In a good way. Just like a deep dive, but you may not come up.
Well, let's just do this for a second. Let's see what we get.
Deep dive.
Not a great way of doing this. Do not do what I'm doing.
Yes.
In fact, I'm doing that completely wrong. I now run the wrong thing. Calls. Go back to the newsfeed. Did I just remove the bit of code by mistake? It did. Yeah. All right, let's just restart. Yeah. Oh, I kind of thought that might happen.
That's not good. Clamping physics. You got your clamping physics broken.
Interesting. Replace gesture recognizers.
Ooh.
Unexpected call.
Too much work on its main thread.
It's not. It's kind of like where I'm actually applying these. I'm actually applying them during builds kind of after build. This is not like. This is why you have render objects. See, it would have worked in the flow widget. There's no reason why that shouldn't have worked. Widgets Flutter binding. I think widgets Flutter binding. Yeah, dot. Wait. No, I'm thinking of widgets binding. Dot instance dot add post. I don't think it's going to make any difference. No. Crap. Let's try a little something in here. I don't think this is going to like. I'm just going to put some hard coded values in here just for a second, see what we get. So something like 700 versus 7,000. Oh, 7,000.
Meantime, I definitely need to jump off now.
Yeah, so do I really. Hang on. Hey, look, it scrolls at least now. So that's a good start. And we get position updates now. All right. So the reason why I wasn't scrolling, I don't know why the round one isn't scrolling, mind you. Like there's obviously something that's changed in Flutter, but this is we're now like rendering this list of items at a different offset based on the scroll pixel position, right? So if I fling it, it'll fling because the pixels have been updated, right? So this is just kind of like the lame sort of scrolling mechanism, right?
Cool.
This is about us. These hard-coded values obviously aren't suitable, right? But this is the viewport dimension is the height of this area here that we're trying to show, and the content is the height that we would say is all of the content you can't see. And this tells it basically when to stop scroll, right? And that's when you reach the end. So we can talk a bit more about this, I think, later date. I think we're trying to do. I'm going to see if we can try and do something before next Wednesday, but I need to work out what time. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, and I've got flexible time, so you can ping me in. Yeah, what works.
But I think like it's really worth us exploring this a bit further. I think people always like the scroll stuff, so and so do I. It's quite interesting.
Scrolling, it catches on.
We can actually do one of the ways to sort of for anyone that's, if you want to take what we were just doing, it is actually, we just did it before, so go look at my gist. If you go if you want to go play with this, you can use Sliver Layout Builder, which is something that's not usually used. And that's how you can actually just render the items that you see on the screen using a Sliver Layout Builder. Not doing custom slivers at all. You can just use a Sliver Layout Builder for that. So there's an interesting case for there. Yes, and it is definitely a use case for Overflow Sizebox. Cool.
Yep.
Anything you guys want to add today?
I just
was pretty good. I would say thank you for inviting me again. Glad to be here.
Anytime. Anytime you want to stay up until 2 a.m. to be on the show, that's fine with us. Right?
Allow that from time to time. Let's see, for sure.
Maybe once in a while, she says.
Right. I mean, we also have the other one, but I'm totally on board that if you want me in both, why not? I have time.
Yeah. And we'll pitch the AI show once again, and same Flutter community main channel, but a sub list for it. So make sure you're.
There's a playlist on this very channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You'll get notified when we do the next streams and everything else. And also tell all your friends, get more people here. Like, tell them how cool this is.
I will catch. No, I got my dash to be Randall. So the Randall is not alone.
That's right.
There we go.
All right then. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you same time, same place next week, or before, hopefully. Right. Bye.
Yes. Bye.